Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Doing well here. We're in Maryville, Tennessee, and name here is Charles. One day when the phone system collapses for one reason or another, ham radio will still be there. Hello, my name is Charles. Did it did it did all did it da 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 did all did all did it. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and lived there all my life. I got into ham radio in high school. A group of us in our high school, we had a shop teacher who was a ham radio or electronic shop, and he was a ham. We had a station, a shack they call it, there in the high school. So I got into it then, and was involved in it pretty heavily. And then I met Beverly. We started dating, so I lost interest in ham radio at that time. And then when Beverly was sick here, I went on Amazon and bought a little cheap ham radio because I always kind of kept up with it, and I got back into it. Well, my faith is an integral part of who I am, and I think in this day and age, when everything is blowing in the wind, there needs to be some stability in people's lives to give them something to anchor to. Yeah, I felt called, finished college, and enrolled immediately in Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth, Texas. This was in '66. Back in the earlier days, as I was real young, in the rural areas of where I grew up, over in Arkansas and in West Tennessee, they had what they call protracted meetings. They would start in the fall after the farmers got all their work done and laid their crops by. Then they would have a meeting that may last 2 weeks. But nowadays, you don't have revivals, and even in the latter days of revival meetings, there were 2 or 3 day revivals. But back then, they went on for a week or two. Yeah, I think the church has failed in many ways in that we don't have a boldness. We've been told, be nice and be sweet and kind of back off. And we've bought that. And that's kind of the role we play today. We want to be considered to be kind and gentle people, but we don't want to push ourselves out. And therefore, we've been, in essence, backed into the corner and let ourselves be backed into the corner. There are 3 seminaries within about 500 miles of Memphis: New Orleans, Louisville, and Fort Worth. And so we opted to go to Fort Worth. And I graduated on a Saturday and started school on a Monday in seminary. And they were already a week ahead. So I was a week behind when I got there. So we moved in a snowstorm and to Fort Worth over the weekend. And I started seminary on Monday morning. And Beverly had a job already. She was working, and the company she was with transferred her to Fort Worth. So she started to work, and I started the seminary the day after we got there. So it was a quick transition. I got real homesick. Beverly was tougher about the whole thing. She said, just suck it up and move on. But it took me a while to get acclimated, but it was a tough transition for me. My major was Christian education, and so I got to know some great professors there, but systematic theology was a class that I really enjoyed. Billy Graham came to the seminary every other year and spoke in chapel, and he was there while I was there. And I remember going home at lunch. I lived in student housing in a duplex, and after lunch, walking back to the campus, I walked up on, coming toward me was Billy Graham, George Beverly Shea, and Cliff Barrows walking down the sidewalk toward me. I got to speak to them a minute. That was interesting. So he always packed the chapel when he was there.
Don't ever be ashamed of this gospel. It has a built-in power that is supernatural from God. We communicate the gospel by a holy life. by a holy life.